What about the new one? The stuff you're recording to that, or are you taking some of these old things again?
No, this is all, so far it's all brand new.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's not even a cover version so far. There's nothing, which is unusual. I usually stick a couple in here. And see, this song, I had no defense because I've been going to the studio for years, pretending I've got loads of songs and I bang them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Charlie picks up on it, and I pretend, and they think that I know what I'm doing. And so, but this time I was getting pressure, for Nick especially, let's work a little bit on some songs before we go in.
Mm.
So, I thought I had no defense, and anyway, I didn't mind doing that anyway, because I just go in the studio and do it the way I do it, because I'm lazy, I guess, in a way, and it's easier, and it doesn't really make that much difference, but we did work a little bit this time. Nick and I worked like for 2 or 3 weeks before the session started. We got 3 or 4 songs together.
What's it like, the stuff? Getting into any sort of particular groove?
Yeah, well, I don't know, it's always hard to say with the Stones, because to me a lot of it is just the Stones playing, there's some good songs. There's a real heart back to sort of Memphis soul in a lot of the tracks. Whether it'll be apparent by the time the album comes out, that depends on the choice of tracks and what's available or immediately available at the time, which tracks we actually end up working on to make the next album. Once again we've ended up with about 40-odd tracks. It's a pleasant position to be in one way, but in the end it's still like decisions. Do you go with this one and this one's nice? Which ones do you actually end up using?
Yeah.
And like I say, as with emotional music, we'll end up, no doubt, using the ones that are the most advanced technically and structurally, and although there may be much better songs on tape, they're just not developed yet to the point where we can work on them in studio. We'd have to recut them or whatever, so to a point you're limited, even though you might have an infinite number of tracks. You've got to cut yourself down to a workable number, because if you work on them all, you'll be in there forever. So you're like hating the Sistine fucking Chapel, you'll be on your back for years, And so you do have to tend to go with the ones that are more immediately ready to, and more developed than some of the others. It doesn't mean that the best particular collection of songs that you could put together, but it's a matter of marrying the business with it's art and business is where they clash, the usual, if you can call it art. He won the midget, didn't he?
Yeah?
Yeah,
looks like it.
They both took a hammering, But he did win, the little fucker.
Nose up.
Charlie is my darling, that was the...
Oh yeah, it's fun. Is there still that thing with Mick? We were talking last time about you were really into the sort of version of dance that didn't get on Emotional Rescue, that Mick had his sort of slick version, Is all this still happening?
In a way, yeah, it is. It's not at that sort of point that it was then, where I was sort of totally out in the cold on it. Mainly because I've known Nick and Nick has known me since we were about 5 years old.
Yeah.
So I can recognise certain things that Mick's doing maybe way ahead of anybody else, just because I've known him so much longer.
Yeah.
I'm an only child, but if I've got a brother in one way, it's him, because he's been there around almost as long as I can remember. So I know him that much. I probably know him better than his own brother then. And that came, last time we spoke, we came to the point that Owen McGrath was still heading up Rolling Stones Records, and it actually ended up, the whole story ended up with the reason that I did All About You. You know, nobody would talk to me for 6 months because they thought it was all about them. Everybody thought it, I mean, I said, even my kids came up to me and said, it was about me. I mean, everybody thought it was, everybody took it personally. And it was just like a way of finishing off the whole thing, I did that vocal and that was the last thing I did on the album, mixed it and cut my thumb open on the Jack Daniels bottle that I smashed while I was doing the vocal. And left a trail of blood sort of down 8th Street from Electric Radio, and that was it, and I said, well, that's got to be it. I'm bleeding, I'm not going to do anything else for this album, And it was amazing that everybody, for about 6 months, Ronnie, it's about me. It was probably about me. It was more me than anybody. But it was like, oh my God, Chuck's in the job because of that song. He said it was all about him. And that was an amazing effect. To answer the question, the situation is still there in a certain way. Rolling Stones, the Rolling Stones, we've been together 20 years and we can stick together through thick and thin, but there is still that certain division between Nick and me that we both doing our best to work on, and it ain't that big a thing that we can't deal with it, because we've always worked for a certain point. One of the reasons that it's worked for so long is that Nick and I have been able to work within a certain amount of friction. And it's one of the things, is the abrasiveness between us two that is sort of one of the main points. It's one of those, it's like what makes a pearl in the oyster, it's that grit, a little grit in there, it'll always be there, but it's nothing near as drastic as it was then.
He's gone through his fair share of the John Blake treatment.
As far as I know, Nick's just sort of totally overexposing himself, but that's his. How much can you say? You can talk about what you do and so many people, and by then you're just going to repeat yourself, and it gets boring. Nobody else wants. You can't keep repeating the same thing within a short period of time. Without boring people to death. I think that's kind of dumb, But at the same time, Nick wants to push the movie, which I don't particularly want to. I'll do my bit.
What do you think of it?
I think it's, for what it is, it's all right. And I don't think it's gone with the wind. You know what I mean? I was saying before we turned the machine on, I don't think that pointing cameras at a stage justifies putting something out as a full-length feature movie. I don't think there's enough interest there, except for die-hard fans, and that doesn't justify putting it out and pretending that it's a real movie. It isn't. It's another periodical visual piece of film that Lawrence has done since Stones in the Park, and before then, Gimme Shelter. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the only difference with this one is that it was done through the Hollywood machinery. Which is the reason that it's sort of been treated in a different way. The best one was always Cocksucker Blues, which never hardly got out.
They were a good band.
And Charlie's be the first one to say, I'd rather see something by Robert Frank. And he said, if you want a movie on the Stones on the road, that's it. Walks and all, and this one, and you just point the camera. So, on a good night, the sound's good, and you're going to see things that you're not going to see from the audience, but it's a cult thing. If you're a Stones freak, you're going to go and see it. But it's not something that's going to draw people to a cinema unless they are that much into it. That's right. It's not Psycho. It's not. It's not Eisenstein.
That's like when I went to Wembley. I was standing in a pool of water, you know, with geezers all comped out around me, you know, and you lot were in the distance, and it was like, I suppose I'd go and see the film so I could see what, what fingerings you were doing.
Just sort of see what you missed when you're actually there.
Yeah.
You know? But when you're in the cinema, you're going to miss the thing that you had when you were actually there as well.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, it was good having people all falling over and going berserk around me, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, the sound, you know, didn't really sort of, it was the atmosphere rather than the
Yeah, I mean, those things are events, right? More than you can't seriously expect to go to a place like Wembley or any other place of that size, and hope to hear a band playing. You know, you go there and accept it. You know, you go there as an event. You know, and that's what it is. You know, I mean, we do our best, but we don't know what the fuck's going on out there. You know, I mean, we're playing what we play, but you know, it doesn't depend on us. It depends upon the guys that are mixing the sound.
Yeah.
And how they, you know, if they had a party the night before and they're all fucking got a hangover, you know, tough luck. You know, I mean, 100,000 people, tough luck. The crew got stoned last night, and it's not as good as it should be. But we don't know, you know, because what we're hearing on stage has got no relation to what you may be hearing out there. Yeah, and it's really, flip the coin.
But I mean, it did prove, but just by doing those gigs, you know, it did prove once and for all that you still have a sort of an amazing drawing power.
I can't say that it wasn't for us like a real. I mean, we did feel like we were coming home for a bit.
Yeah.
And it was a great feeling for us. Yeah. I mean, Wembley particularly, but not just Wembley. Newcastle was great. I mean, it was freezing cold. It's the middle of summer. It's freezing cold, drizzling rain. Yeah, the crowd were great. Yeah. I mean, wherever we played, I mean, it was like it was heartwarming for the band. I mean, everybody, you know, and they did. I mean, they put their backs into it as much as they could. Yeah. I don't think it's the best possible place to hear the Stones play. And, you know, we could do a lot better back at the Station Hotel. Yeah. But then we couldn't. Yeah. I mean, that's something everybody has to deal with. You know. And quite like Jagger, deal with handling a place that size better than almost anybody else. You know, that stage developed out. It was a very simple idea, but just the fact that you could get out sort of a third of the way out to the audience, that made an incredible amount of difference. And it's a very simple idea. We should have all thought about it 10 years ago. Yeah. It took us that long to realise that all you needed was a couple of long ramps. Yeah. And you could actually, you could reach a whole lot more people.
You did a fair bit of running about, you know.
Yeah, I mean, so it's about it. You could see the whole band waiting for you, and they're stuck out a quarter of a mile away, you know. Have I been out there too long? They start herring back, you know. Yeah. But, it's kind of funny, you know. And it gave us a few laughs, and it gave everybody probably knew us a few laughs, really, which is what it's all about, really. I mean, don't take this thing too seriously. I mean, everyone say, that Stones walked away with so many million, and this, but I mean, figure the overheads,
Right.
I mean, if they want to come and see you, what do? You got to, go out there and play, you know. It might not be the ideal place to do it, but you rather than not play at all.
But you did manage like the little ones in Scotland, right?
Yeah, they were good. Very good. It was real. The Stones, since we'd been sort of priced out of England, like 71 or whatever it was the first time that we'd come back here and played that we felt that we sort of justified ourselves to a certain extent, I mean, 76, I was caught, we were crying our beer, we just couldn't deal with the horn, it was just a terrible place, we knew, and I mean, it's enough that brings you down, when it's your own town, and you don't give your best, or you're prevented from giving your best, it can piss you right up,
Apparently, all the other gigs were like empty because everybody was going to see the Stones and stuff. Did you read that one?
Yeah, apparently, I know we've been blamed for ruining everybody else's tours. Queen cancelled,
Yeah.
But then, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Queen are a new wave group. I mean, in comparison to the Stones, you know, they're also, you know, they could be flailing around. And Freddie alone is flailing around in 3-2. Yeah, we ruined everybody else's business. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Sorry we did so well. Yeah.
It's up to the punter anyway.
Exactly.
I'm just going to go see the Stones and Queen.
Yeah. It's up to them. I mean, they're going to choose who they want to see. I mean, I'm just glad we managed to sort of pull it off reasonably well this time. Yeah. I mean, the Stones were sort of we've let England down, you know, since we had to leave. You know, they don't want to pay them like the taxes. Leave the country. You know, it's like, yeah, slag off time. You know. And rich old farts, and all that.
It's not like that. It's, you know, sort of that line of thought, which was sort of coming up in '77. You know, it's sort of levelled off now, and the groups that are coming out now are just so, they're like, you know, the weak pop coming out about 74, 75. They all sound like that. You know, have you heard any of these new groups?
In the charts here,
Cadry Goo Goo and all those, you know, a whole lot.
Master Dutchies,
They're alright. All these synthesizer bands.
Yeah, I've only heard about them. I mean, I've probably heard them on the radio, but also for the last 6 months I've been I've been involved in recording them. That's always my blind spot. I don't, you know, people say, have you seen this film? Have you read this book? Have you heard this record? And I realise that when I'm recording, I don't take any notice of it, you know, I just don't get the chance. Yeah, to let one shake out.
Yeah, I think that's true.
I don't hear anything, read anything, or see anything, you know. Hear no evil, see no evil. I just totally, without really realising it, I get totally absorbed in making the next album, you know, I'm either in the studio or I'm flaked out. Yeah, that's it. There's two situations. I mean, I'm in the studio, I'm in the, you know, once a week I crash out. Or I'm in the studio, you know, and I tend to suddenly realise that I haven't heard, you know, if England had sunk, you know. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody told me 2 weeks later, you know, England sunk 2 weeks ago. I wouldn't know about it.
Yeah.
I get that far into it.
Still
go to the studio, you know, you stay there until everybody's dropped around you.
You're still there going to engineers and
yeah, first the musicians start to drop off.
Yeah, last time, what was it? 9 days or something, you said.
Yeah, before they let me around, it was 9 days.
Well, you just record straight.
Yeah, well, it's kind of, I mean, that was almost, it's always the same thing with All About You. Yeah, because if if I've got a song that I want to do, I always tend to leave it till the very end of the sessions. Yeah, and we'll cut the track, we'll leave it, and Nick will say, well, you're going to do this? Yeah, I mean, this is the one you're going to do it. You know, I can't do it. You know, you're going to do it. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to do it. All right, yeah, I like this. You know, don't worry, Nick. You know. And then suddenly it's like everybody's split and gone, and I've still got this track to do. Yeah. And so I suddenly bring in some. Before they make it right, it was Dave Jordan who at the time was no more on a T-boy or a tape-off at Ireland at Hammersmith. Yeah. I mean, since then it's got the specials and that. Yeah. So but everybody else is split. Yeah. So I got Dave in. Went over to Paris and we spent 9 days sort of indulging myself, sort of trying to finish this track to get it on the album. The same thing with All About You. It was all like, well, if you want it on the album, we're all expecting it to be on the album. But I mean, how does it go? You know, we got
Yeah.
the track, you know, we've had the track for months.
Yeah.
What's it all about? Yeah. And it was the same thing with that. This one, I'm ahead of it.
Have you got a track for this one?
Yeah, this one I've got the track, I've got most of the vocals done already. That's the one bit I've still got to figure out. I got all the other bits, I've still got to decide what the hook's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, this one's kind of a Beatles song. Yeah, it's about time somebody wrote it. McCartney can't write them anymore.
Yeah. I really like Little T&A actually.
Yeah, that was another one off the tip of the tongue, you know. All About You was like the last track for Emotional Rescue. T&A was like the last track to be ready for Tattoo You, you know. It was like, yeah, you've got this song, you want to do it? Yeah, right. And I find that myself, if I sit down and try and write songs, I've got the cassette and sit down in the hotel room or wherever I am, I can't do it like that. And I'd rather just sort of stand in front of the microphone and start blah-blahing away and like hone it down over a few hours or days. It's the only way that, because that's the only time that I realise that I've got to do it. And that's when it all comes to me, it comes right off the tip of the tongue, and that's why I always I ain't a songwriter. I was like an antenna, like an aerial. You sort of stand there, and if you're desperate enough, something comes out, you're just sort of a conductor, you're just sort of a medium. If there's something there, it'll come. You can't force it, and you can't sort of write it down on paper beforehand. You can't walk in and say, this song goes like this. At least not with this band, you can't. Not saying you can't do that all the time. You can walk in and give them 2 or 3 songs, say, we want it to go like this, and this is the way it goes, and you can do that. But 90% of the time, it's right off the top of the head.
Yeah, they should put one of yours out as a single one, I always think.
Yeah, Nick is very conservative.
Yeah.
In the way, this is a very strange, if you want to talk about flamboyant characters, Nick is not somebody who's a conservative person, but when it comes to making records, it's very conservative, very, rather take something which is very free, and then redo it and restructure it. And I understand that, and I'll go along with it too, because that's the way we were brought up in the time. When you needed a hit single every 12 weeks. And so Satisfaction would come out, and you sort of, it took off. Wow, fantastic, and then you're just sort of breathing a sigh of relief, and a knock at the door. Have you got a new single? And so we brought up songwriting and making records under that kind of pressure, say it all in 2 minutes, 35 seconds, and have it ready, before the next one's released. You've got to have the next one half constructed and ready to go, and I'm the first one to say, get off of my cloud, forget it, And it was a follow-up to Satisfaction. It was just like, oh my God, they're knocking at the door. All right, this is what we've got, and we'll just ride on the back of Satisfaction for that, because you can't do it all the time. It was an incredible, but at the same time, it did teach you and force you to learn certain things about making records and writing songs that doesn't exist now. Just because singles were king, the single was everything. If you didn't have the hit single, an album didn't mean a thing.
It's happening again now.
It's because now because of the economics, singles. How much does it make a single? And get some profit off of that, and with the profit you make off of that, then you can sell an album. Which isn't a bad thing. I think the 70s and the late 60s were a real, even when it was going on, they're signing everybody up. and given them huge advances, you know, then they'd be much better off left struggling for 3 years and get their act together, because all these kids were coming outside up, being churned out like mincemeat at the other end with it, you know, just because they had 2 good songs, you know, and ruined, finished, you know, somebody that could have been, this, you know, littered with them, right? The road, you know, Stations of the Cross.
There's some quite good bands coming out now, sort of on the real, you know, low level, sort of sneaking out beyond, you know, below all the synth bands. And there's all these sort of bands like they're actually getting into glitter, you know, and whipping that back in there.
Have you heard of the Dirty Strangers?
Yeah, I know them.
No, I'm good friends with Alan.
Right.
Yeah.
You're doing some stuff with them or something?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been talking about it, and I took a couple of his first stuff they recorded, because it was like a weird parallel.
Yeah.
They recorded the first stuff they actually managed to get on tape. They did at IBC Studios, which is where we cut our first stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and there's that weird parallel there, and I like his songs. Anyway.
They're good, yeah.
Yeah.
I know a couple of them. You know, they're down about the Lightning Raiders, you know, the other lot. So they split up now.
Yeah, up until Christmas I was in contact with him all the time. I've only spoken to him a couple of times since, because I've just been so involved in doing the Stones song, that I didn't get around to calling up. But he had 3 or 4 songs which were like really interesting, and things were starting to happen for him. And I managed to lay this tape on a DJ in Paris, and it took off like that. Yeah, I mean, they didn't have a record to back it up, so it didn't do it. I mean, financially it didn't do them any good, because they didn't know to sell. It was just that people would call up saying, where can I get it? You know? And on the strength of that, the guy, the DJ, brought them over to Paris to do a couple of shows. Yeah, it's better than not working. They worked at Wellington, right? A lot of shit, right? Yeah. But they're probably right now the only English band I know of. That's all, not because I wish I knew more. I wish I could live here all the fucking time. I don't see why I can't live in my own country. Well, I do. I mean, I'd end up in a debtor's prison. If I lived here all the time, I'd be in there. I'd be working out there at Newgate. Because it's just, I mean, I don't mind coughing up, man, but, I'm not going to slip my back in the throat.
Not 96% or whatever.
Well, and it's not even that bad, is it? But once they force you out, and you get used to not paying taxes, and you structure your life in that way, even to come back and even pay, let's be honest, anybody, you're not going to do it. Drain, forget it. But you're not going to, once they forced you out, you're not going to come back until you get used to it. I mean, I prefer to move around. I love England, but I don't miss it that much. So I have to cough up 2 million quid to live here. Like the price of living here. Sorry, it's too expensive. Like it is for everybody else. Like it is for fucking some schmuck on the dole. Which there's millions of them, and it's horrible that. I mean, who am I to talk about that? I was deadlocked, I waltzed in, doing my hobby and made money out of it. Alright, you're gonna put me down for that. I'm sorry. I was, there was a load of jam. That's all there is to it. I mean, anybody out there on the fucking dome queue, if it happened to them, do the same as me. I prefer to be able to live at home, but I can't afford to live here.
So you're still in New York? Like when you're not in Paris?
I mean, basically, I'm Jamaican. Yeah, man. Liar. Blood, man. I mean, I'm a Jamaican. I'm a resident of Jamaica. That's where I live.
We've got a brother out there.
I've for 10 years, 12 years. 11 years. That's my residence. That's where I'm based. I live in New York as long as the Americans allow me into, which is a certain amount of time a year. I'm allowed to be in England 90 days a year. But I mean, it's an enforced diddy coin.
diving about.
Yeah,
How much longer this year have I got here and that?
Yeah, no man's no man. It's an enforced situation. You get used to it after a while. It doesn't bother you. I love this green and pleasant land, but I mean, if I can't afford it, I can't afford it.
That makes sense.
That's the weird thing with all this lot, is that the more money you make, the less you can afford. This is dumb, sort of, really, because what's happened to England is, doesn't matter, rock and roll musicians, they're expendable, right? But I mean, the same thing applies to physicists, scientists, it applies, I mean, it doesn't just apply to us, it applies to anybody that has got an extraordinary talent. If they can make more money abroad, why do you think there's a pub in the middle of Los Angeles, why do you think they would have the King's Arms at Long Beach? There's 50,000 British people living there because they can make more money, they can afford what they do there. They could be doing it for this country. I mean, in this way they're done, because what they're doing is forcing anybody with talent. They don't even need ambition. It doesn't even come into it. I mean, somebody else might recognize their talent, and well, there's your choice. You can live here and be a pauper, and be a saint for England, and sort of, live in a hovel and work your ass off for England, or you can go somewhere else and do what you want to do and live comfortably. Okay. Come in if you can, and do it. Show me what I live. Then you can be a saint.
Right.
You stay here and do it. It's only how. We're getting down to the fundamentals. Why have they got the King's Arms in Long Beach? And 50,000 servants and people that come from all around living there, pretending they've got Wall's pork sausages, HP sauce. I mean, they try and pretend they're living in England, because they hate to be away from it. But at the same time, if they were living here, they'd have to be scrabbling.
The things I hate about England, apart from the economics, the weather.
But when you're born with it, I mean, you can kind of like,
you get used to it,
become that's part of your, geographics are part of it's why England is still England, whatever that means.
It's like a bit of an apathetic country, isn't it? Depressed country. Very few people actually do it.
It's very low.
Because the people that do anything, fuck off. Because it's not worth their while to stay. I was saying that rock and roll music, forget it. I mean, that's just a symptom of it. But I mean, why do you think that half the guys in Houston are sending the fucking rockets up to the moon? They're English guys living there. I mean,
but just the money though, it's like a negative attitude you tend to get here. It's like, people wake up in the morning, they feel depressed, they read the paper, there's 40
I'm sure people do that the world over, Alan. I think basically, it's economic pressure. Most of those people living out there would prefer to be living here.
Getting really low on gas, it's gone.
They're only working there because
for the money, I guess.
And because they can just live better. They're not going to be. You don't get penalised for your talent or your ambition. Whatever. I mean, as far as the Stones concerned, it wasn't ambition. It was just accident. You got penalised for making a lot of money out of your hobby.
But the sort of job I do, you can't. It's a funny thing, but you can. I mean, I've been doing it quite a while now, 7 years now, and I sort of had sometimes great sort of cash flow and zero cash flow and great.
Sometimes it's worth not making so much.
Do you know, I'm no better off now than when I started when I was 7 years.
Same here.
Same here. I've got no different house. I live in the same flat. I live in. It's amazing, really. And it is taxes.
Just the more money you make, the more they take from you.
It's a really small amount.
That's why we had to leave. I mean, it was unbelievable to us in 1970. I'm sorry, if you stay here,
it's going to be like 90%.
You know, you're going to be a
tax,
pauper.
When are you going to, I read, you keep reading these things, you know, every week. Most of them don't come true, but one was a gangster film.
That goes back a real long way. That is the last words of Dutch Shorts.
That's it,
There's an amazing transcript. William Burroughs presented that one via some friends to me, and it was a stenographer. It was based on a stenographer's report he took a long time to actually expire. Yeah, he got blown away in a subway somewhere in New York, and his last words, which went on for like an hour or two, his stenographer there, the cops were trying to pump him with information, you know, and like, who did this job, and he just got kind of, he said no answers at all. He was just like, he was up on some vision, you know. One of the few well documented visions of like premature death, you know, and the big black hole. Yeah. And I've never. I mean, that's as far as I got into it was that I had the piece, 4 or 5 pages of transcript, and always said, that is a movie to be made. And that was as much as I ever said about it. The rest of it is like people wanting to make the movie, and then it got, I'm supposed to be making it. Is the usual.
It was John Blake, funnily enough.
Yeah, right. I mean, exactly. I mean, it's the centre page of the Sun. I mean, twisted it around like that. I've never known anybody to come to me and say, we really want to make this, and I've got no claim on the thing, and it doesn't belong to me. It's just something that I happen to talk about to some people, like we're talking about it now, and say, this could be an amazing movie, but that's as far as that one goes, I mean...
Don't you get fed up with sort of reading what you're up to?
Right, no.
The other one was that you settled down.
I mean, sometimes I get up in the morning and the old lady tells me what I did last night. And I find that pretty amazing sometimes. And so that's an extension of that, And most of them, it's like, back to John Blake again, right? Tony Sanchez, Spanish Tony to me. Dominguez, motherfucker. But
wrote that.
Yeah, John Blake was the ghost on that. I mean, you can't believe it. I don't know. It's him. Grimm's fairy stories.
He has a cheek.
Yeah, that was great. No, that was great because every chapter started off like, all right, that's a story that started like that, and then you get like past the second, third page of each chapter, and they go whoosh, up in the fairyland. Everyone. That's why I'm very. Hey, why should I do John Blake a favour? I don't own nothing. You can print that. But we don't need to talk about it. But as far as movies go, I can't see myself doing it. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing it because we'd all like to make a movie. But I mean, I can't see myself after 20 years of being me. I can't see myself sort of doing the rounds of the studios and doing the screen tests and auditions and doing film and bloody chew in pantomime or anything else. I mean, if somebody comes to me and says, I want you to do this, and I say, you're right, this is a great one over there. I might do it, but I can't see myself sort of making a conscious decision to sort of leap off the high board into Hollywood and sort of tussle with a role, he's dusted off and we get this, or is it me, or is Al Pacino, I'm not going to go up against those guys, that's their fucking job. they can't play guitar. Yeah, and I'm not saying they couldn't make a good record. Yeah, no more. Maybe I might not be able to make a good movie, but I can't see myself going into it that way. Yeah, I mean, I'm not about to sort of. You can't teach an old dog. Yeah, I mean, if it came to me, I'd do it. You know, if it came to me and I thought the guy was right, because I want you to do this, and I think you can do it. You know, and if I happen to agree with him, then maybe I'd do it. But I don't. You know, I'm not about to go around begging.
So people didn't make Only Lovers Left Alive.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, I mean, Andrew Oldham taught us this trick, the movie trick. Excuse me, it's just I've got a cold, not what you think. Andrew Oldham, I mean, wised us up on Fleet Street in like two crash course. Yeah, it was always a movie. Yeah, from the minute we started, there was always a movie. Yeah. That's one of those bits of bait that Fleet Street can't resist. Yeah, a movie. Yeah, it happens to be amazing. It doesn't matter. It's bullshit. We always said, we're in discussions now with certain people from Los Angeles. I mean, we just used to say, so I'm sorry, we can't reveal names or details. Yeah. I mean, it would always get you a couple of columns in the Daily Mirror and a Daily Sketch. Yeah, I mean, Andrew, that was like, Professor of Public Relations. Amazing. I mean, we had it down. Yeah, and that's where we learned it all from. Yeah, that's why we used to turn up to the Savoy dressed in clothes we knew we're not going to get in. Like, you have to have a tie and a suit. And especially in the early 60s, to get into these places, and we deliberately turn up, and Andrew would make sure there were a couple of photographers around. I mean, that is what it was based on. I mean, we played the game, manipulation of the media. You know.
So McLaren is correct.
Yeah, I mean, true. I mean, whatever McLaren is half-assed Andrew Oldham. Yeah.
Andrew seemed to get a lot of it, when he was going for that Clockwork Orange phase, and sort of all it is.
Yeah, I was with him. I was into it as he was. We used to go down, his American car with his chauffeur come bruiser. Yeah, sort of beat up people on the way.
Yeah.
And it was all great fun, we built a brick wall over somebody's driveway, in the middle of the night. Yeah. Cement and all, totally 6-foot brick wall. Yeah. Spend all night doing it.
Really?
You used to do that, did you?
Yeah, especially if you knew it was somebody that we made a phone call to that had to be in London at like 6 in the morning, and they sort of whiz out of their stately home. Yeah, 5 in the morning.